singer, songwriter, composer, actor, wanderer, dreamer. Yes, my guest today is the redoubtable Lucky Ali, the ageless artist. Mr. Lucky Ali, welcome to Talk Time.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine. There are many who say that you are a maverick, that you would do only what you want to do, and no one can convince you to do anything that you don't want to.
I think that's the case with practically everybody. I mean, in terms of my work, I'm very particular about, what I make, and because at the end of the day, it's your expression and you have to be true to your expression. So, you cannot dilly-dally around with your with what your communication is, So yeah, I give it great importance to, be a bit disciplined about that.
Mm-hmm. Disciplined, but you are not headstrong.
I am headstrong in the sense, not madly headstrong in that sense that the youth, the fire of youth, you understand what I mean? I'm headstrong in about equipment. I just go and if I see an equipment and I think it's going to help my work, and
right.
I would approach that. Or maybe something that I enjoy, like I like technologies, I like associating with people who have that bent of mind, and so we can start something, we can start some ideas, and so it's about that.
Your father, the legendary actor-director Mahmood Saab, wanted you to act in a film. You apparently refused because you may not have liked the storyline. Now my question is, what does this say about Lucky Ali the man?
Well, my father is the one who probably instilled in my heart to be true and to say what, to express yourself. And of course, that was very much part of our growing up. So when they wrote the story, in the initial stages it sounded like it was going somewhere. But then it got into that color of the Bollywood sensibilities, and I didn't think that it would provide the right message to every child probably needs to be understood in the way that they express themselves. You understand what I'm saying? But if it is assumed that that you are feeling like this, then it becomes like a bit of a thing. So you got to be true to that, and that's my space.
Absolutely. Now you see, you chose music over acting because your father Mahmood Saab gave breaks. He himself gave breaks to so many actors, and you came from a hardcore, cinema family. I am not using the word Bollywood. Your aunt was the legendary Meena Kumari ji. Still, you didn't go into films that much.
The reason why I didn't get into films is because we don't, in the Indian film industry, I don't think they utilize their, their faculties of reason, of creativity, of, those kind of things. I feel that it's what someone else did that they would, incorporate. And then even the filmmaking as such. Earlier on, when they made films like in the art genre or whatever, of course it was slow, but it made a point. It said a fact. You understand. You were educated on that. Films need to educate, and if there's no education, and if there's just something that is going to send me home with a lot of energies that I didn't intend in the first place. So, but music doesn't do that to me. With music, I'm able to balance out the communication with whoever I'm communicating with.
But you are also at the same time a very, very unconventional musician. You yourself say that you are an uneducated, that's the word you've said, you are an uneducated musician. Has it come to your benefit, or has it been problematic at times?
Well, it's not been problematic in that sense that there was never a forum where you could not express yourself. Someone or the other heard it, even if it was your dog. You understand what I mean? So, at the end of the day, I have no regrets about people not understanding in the initial stages. But then you don't expect everybody to, appreciate and understand what you do, why you do it, till you do it.
Did you buy your first guitar at the age of 13 after watching Elvis Presley? My question is, was Elvis Presley the inspiration?
No, not at all. I mean, Elvis Presley was just an icon at home, and all my chachas used to adulate him.
Okay.
And they wore pointed shoes and made that face, that
Yeah.
face, So we thought it was really cool at that time. But my first guitar was presented to me by my mom, and because she knew I had this leaning towards musical expression. So she got me my first guitar, and since then I've just.
But no one at home tried to convince you that, well, you come from a film family and you should go into films?
Well, my father did tell me, I'm making a film for you. I said, you don't need to make a film for me. I want to be like you, because his father never made any film for him.
Yeah.
I actually emulated my dad's struggle. I mean, he was the son of a superstar of his time, Mumtaz Ali, who was very famous. But my father worked very humbly. You understand what I'm saying? And those are things that he told us about. And I just felt it was unfair to my dad that, okay, you're giving me this break, but then I also have other siblings, you know what I mean? I felt that I could, generally express myself in the sense, in the things that I was doing, so.
Now, you see, I mean, when anyone who reads about you, who follows you, realizes sooner or later that there is a method in your madness, that you are looking for order in chaos. Now, is confusion, you've said somewhere that confusion is the method I use while creating songs.
Well, even in life, I mean, generally in life, because things get thrown at you and you get confused because they're not linear. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could be nature, it could be the weather, it could be COVID, it could be, you understand anything. It could be just the attitude of the world around you. So you have to adapt to that. So that comes in a state of not really knowing what is hitting you, and you're confused about that. But then you realize if that's the reality of things, then how do you, traverse through those, those challenges, if you want to call them that.
Now, how did O Sanam happen? Because that song, that was a chart buster for 60, 70 weeks, in various platforms. Was it something that you walked for? Because that really propelled you to the center stage of the music industry.
O Sanam and Raat Chandni, these were my first songs that I wrote, as a tune, and then we adapted the words to. And it came from what I wanted in all my songs was what I was actually feeling. I didn't want to show anyone a dream or, take them to a wrong place. I mean, most of my songs basically I feel are either below the ground or above the earth, you understand what I mean? Also, we are walking on that earth, but it's not like, I'm not looking for a magic place, a utopia. I know that this is where we are, and from that we've got to make this big, nice thing happening, amongst humanity, amongst nature, and
So, are we to understand that your songs are somewhat autobiographical, that it expresses your angst, your happiness, your frustrations?
No, many of my songs, not about my angst. Angst, I would say yes, but not frustrations. I'm not. My songs don't have frustrations. They know how to deal with situations, and they answer those situations. Many of the songs that I wrote are kind of like, they become true in my life at some point, or You understand? If they weren't part of my life at that time, they become part of my life as my narrative of life. You understand?
Now you see the timelessness of Lucky Ali himself, and of course his songs. Now, O Sanam went viral again recently, not too long back. It went viral again. So in today's world where we have all kinds of music, there are so much more platforms that you can listen to music while you are doing almost everything. So why do you think a song like O Sanam has gone viral? What is the moral of the story? What does this mean?
Well, it teaches you, it teaches me about nothing really remains, you understand. You can't really be attached to things, and if you are, everything passes on, and memories are something like that. But you grow from those memories. They never hurt you. They kind of made you a better human being. I don't know. And love does do that,
Now you see your new single, fairly new single, Intezar. That has also got rave reviews, and there's a lot of buzz around Intezar. I don't know whether it is proper to request you to sing just one line of Intezar, because people have heard it, but people would like to hear it on the show.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Sure. Intezar, as it started out, was an expression of IP Singh, and but I didn't want to sing a love song. I wanted to.
Why so? Sorry.
Generally, I didn't want to sing a love song like "Main aaunga wapas" or "I'll come back," because you don't know you're coming back or you're not coming back. So, the way I looked at it was that there was this Intezar, and then there was this other aspect of Intezar, which was Tamanna. Which and they walk together, and they seek the same thing, the same the sunrise, if you want, the light. So we just did some changes, and so Intezar aur Tamanna, hum safar saath chale, सांझ से उबरती सुबह में जाके वो गुल मिल गए. So that.
Absolutely. So you try to sink in both the meaning, and at the end of the day you were saying that they are both seeking the same goal.
The song should, I think, unless you really don't want to have a meaning to it, like you could just say anything. But I see, in my case, I feel that if I need to express, I need to have some meaning to what I'm trying to say. I don't want it to be a senseless expression or a interaction or whatever, because it's a responsibility. I look at my work not seriously as that, but it is a responsibility. You're answerable for what you do.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
The work that you do. And
absolutely, all icons are responsible for what they do. Don't go away. I'll be right back. I'm in conversation with the one and only Lucky Ali. Welcome back. I am in conversation with Lucky Ali, one of India's most popular but unconventional singers. Mr. Lucky Ali, you have said that you are Mumbai's Mai Kalal, and yet you decided to leave Mumbai, your mother, and shift to the quietude of your farmhouse in Bengaluru.
Well, it's not as though we've left Bombay, because we've got a lot of family interests in Bombay, even now. But Bangalore, after mom and dad passed on, became kind of relevant in terms I needed that space. I grew up in a space in Mussoorie.
Yeah.
which allowed me a lot of what do you call space. Again, boarding school does that for you. Of course, I bunked a lot, but and I went down into the mountains. I never bunked to like go out movies or things like that. I used to go out, and then I used to try to, like, when you sang, you know, and the voice would hit like this, and you know, those kind of things. Fascinating stuff. So yeah, so my parents had shifted to Bangalore anyways. My father used to have horses, and he ran this horse farm, and then he became incapable because of his age and his issues with his breathing and stuff like that. And he just felt that none of us would really carry on with that trade of, you know, horse flesh and stuff like that. And frankly speaking, I love horses, but I wouldn't want to be punished with a horse. You understand what I mean? They require a lot of care and keep, and the industry is not even a minuscule of what it is elsewhere. So as a thing, it was not something that
No, you don't seem to like Bollywood much. Why so?
It's not a like or dislike. I just can't identify with the environment. You know, yeah, I don't identify with it.
So like, what should have been an ideal movie environment?
I've been in all those, and I think I was at the end of all of that. Kante was one example, where you reached the zenith of like where the film industry could have reached. You understand, with how they made the film and how it was produced, and then when you see that and you say, man, it's not going to happen here, because they don't think that way. And even the way they made Kante was with a lot of piggybacking. You understand what I'm saying? So, but it was a good effort. It was a good education for me. And then having worked with teachers like Shyam Benegal, you know, I saw things in a very different perspective. You know, like, I mean, cinema then became a means of like not only storytelling but documentation, stuff like that. You know, like
someone has written that Lucky Ali's songs are like warm hugs that can, you know, soothe your inner chaos, that can calm your inner chaos. Now, you know, you have shifted to Bangalore. You like the quietude. You like the quiet atmosphere. Now, what are the things that you have seen change over the years as far as music is concerned? Now, you are into singles. You worked with A.R. Rahman. You worked with, I mean, some of the finest music composers and directors in the country.
Yes, I've been very fortunate. But I couldn't really make that my life, because that's not my space again. Cinema, making music for cinema is then adapting to a director's concept of how, you understand, to basically support his idea. Whereas in my work, I'm basically just telling you stories that I see, which is cinema, but in a very compressed and you understand kind of thing, like, you know, because when we made videos like O Sanam and Ghar Ko Main Nikla and all that, we told you stories, you know, and you're supposed to join the dots. So that's basically the exercise I undertook and expressed.
Now, many would say, you talked about how your father bred horses and so on. You were also into that for some time. But many would say you were crazy to have a snake for a pet. Do you still have it at your home in Bangalore?
Well, my first pet was a dog. But in school, my friend Koshi, he used to run about with snakes and lizards and stuff like that. So I asked him for a snake as a pet. So he sold me a snake for 10 rupees.
But when was that?
This was
we were in school, is it?
Yeah, it was just in 7th to the 8th. And then I took that home and my mom freaked out. You know, she said, "What the heck, you brought a snake?" And then she said, "Leave it on the farm." And that snake is still there.
Really?
Yes, yes, it's grown massive. I mean, people have seen it. I have not seen it, but the people who work on the farm have like encountered it.
But interesting, you also had a carpet business, and that you had run into losses for of all things carpet business.
Yeah, I mean, my father said, you only know acting or you only know whatever you do, but you'll never be a businessman. We weren't brought up as business people, you understand. So, but I wanted to make a break away from cinema and music, and I just thought like, I'd establish myself in something else. So I'd go and people sell their wear to me for 10 times the price more than what it was in the market. And when I went to sell it, they would want 20 times less than what I bought it for. Like, you understand what I mean? So I could not really balance that. So I ended up giving away the carpets, like, just generally. But I collect carpets as a hobby.
But what makes Lucky Ali tick? Because you may be very, of course, you have been very humble. You don't talk much about your own music yourself. But still, people across generations, that's why I described you as an ageless artist. What makes you tick? Because you've composed those songs in the mid-90s, still popular. Your music is totally different, yet even the youngsters, the younger generation like it. So in your own words, I'd like to hear why, what is it?
I must be alien.
No, that is okay, but still, you must have analyzed.
No, I don't know. I have not. It was a blessing from Almighty, like, just He gave us a song and He gave me the ability to express it, and I just did that. So.
And these days, of course, it is farmhouse music run by your son and your nephew.
My nephew,
that is keeping you busy. Tell us something about farmhouse music.
Oh, these kids are musicians, they grew up in the music environment. So their expression and understanding of music and how is quite, they've taken strides above what I've been able to, like, been able to accomplish in that, in putting forward my music. Like, so the social environment does give you that boost, you understand what I mean? It was there, and it allowed us to express ourselves. And then I just didn't know how to run it, like, because so many people want you to come and do concerts. So the kids had a background in event, so they just took it and just taking it forward.
Now, all good conversations have to end, but my question is, you have done a lot of fundraising events for the Indian Army, for the Indian Air Force, but you are in Guwahati again this time around for a fundraising event for two very leading charitable institutions. One is Udayachal, which is for the spatially abled people, and the other is Sneha Bandhan for the underprivileged. And by the way, these are two very passionate projects of the Prideist Group founder, Mrs. Riniki Bhuya Sharma. How do you feel coming back to Assam? How do you feel that you are coming on a fundraising event for these two very leading institutions?
Well, I'm honored to be being able to help in whatever best way that I can. But I'm always happy to come to Assam because I like the people here, I like the environment, I like the nature that is there, and it's always, I've gotten a lot of love and respect from the environment. And I think we used to be related to a very famous Assamese musician also.
Okay.
Through, who's your most famous?
Contemporary?
Generally, he is no more.
Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, of course. Yes. The maestro.
Yes. He was related to Geeta Dutt, Guru Dutt, that family. And my, cousin is married into that family, so I...
So you've got a special bonding as far as Assam is concerned. And, as we have been talking, music is timeless, Lucky Ali is timeless. What would you like to tell the youths finally? And of course, you must have hummed or sang it 1,000 times, but still I'd like to once again request just a line of O Sanam, because that is the signature song of Lucky Ali. Of hope we'll hear it during the concert as well.
शाम सवेरे तेरी यादें आती है, आके दिल को मेरे यूं तड़पाती है, ओ सनम मोहब्बत की कसम. See, to answer that question, what was the question that you asked?
Question was, what would you like to tell the youths?
To look for the eighth note. The eighth note is silence.
To look for the eighth note.
Yes. And
the note of silence.
Yes.
Can it be achievable really?
Why not?
How? It will require a lot of willpower.
Well, it requires a change of heart, because a condition is never changed unless there's a change of heart. That's old wisdom from, I would say, godly sources. So
Are you a very religious? Are you a very spiritual person? Because
I'm not anything.
When I've heard that when people ask you what is your favorite place, you say Mecca and Medina.
Yeah, it is. I love Makkah and Medina. I mean, I feel like like I know that place from a very, very long time. I don't know. Sometimes I've been here before. Or like I felt familiar with it, not any. I just felt very familiar. I felt like I was in India, part of India that was the India I grew up in. People are very similar. It's probably the language that is very different, but the vibes are the same everywhere.
Absolutely. And I quite really like that your appeal, your call to the youth to look for the eighth note and the change of heart that you are asking for. Let's hope there is a change of heart and there is good days prevail. Thank you very much, Mr. Lucky Ali, for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless.